Oh, and the microphone wasn't muted. Hello there. How's it going? Let me double check the stream on Twitch. It's sounding good. I hope everybody is well. We have another fun-packed stream this Saturday for This Week in Japan. This Week in Japan is a show where basically a couple of the funniest news stories that came out of Japan this week. So we've had stuff like drinkable mayonnaise was a big one last week, which was definitely a choice. Yeah, that's definitely weird. And the week before that, we had like a weasel breaking into a Japanese elementary school to steal shoes. So like lots of really random stuff always comes out of these episodes. It's meant to be like a more light-hearted kind of look at various like funny news stories, as opposed to, it's not meant to be like a serious news show. It's meant to be more like light-hearted, fun. There's lots of jokes and other stuff like that. So on this week's episode, we've got like a whole bunch of stuff ranging from an office worker who decided to pants himself and show off his underwear on an escalator, which is just ridiculous. We'll get into it. We've also got Japanese nap pods. So they've introduced these pods in schools so that elementary school children can like sleep. And when I say pods, you kind of get the impression that you're like lying flat. No, these are kind of like vertical pods that you can get in and try and sleep in. It makes zero sense. And I actually have video footage of it, and it's going to be really funny to look at that. We've also got a convenience store that was built inside of a volcano, which is unique. It's still an active volcano. It's not like the volcano is not erupting anymore. It's erupting every single day. It's wild. Also got a brand new Red Bull flavor that tastes like kotatsu. If you don't know what a kotatsu is, it's basically like a heated table with a quilt. If you've ever watched anime, you've probably seen it. But I've got lots of examples and stuff like that. We've also got like a bunch of new Winnie the Pooh merchandise for Year of the Snake coming up. We've also got a Japanese gamer gown, which honestly, it looks pretty cringe. But we'll get your take on it later on. There's also a hilarious story, which is the title of the stream, is getting paid to chat with Japanese girls and flirt with them. It's a really interesting story that came out this week. We've also got gyaru lessons. If you don't know what a gyaru is, kind of like the British viewers, it's kind of like a chav. For American viewers, it's kind of like a valley girl. And there's like lessons that you can take to become a gyaru. And there's also in Japan you have otaku who are really interested and they're really like mad over trains. So like you got like anime otaku, manga otaku, but you also got train otaku. And basically they've been taking it a little bit too far, and they've been having a bit of a punch up on train platforms. So these train otaku have made their own fight club. It's absolutely wild. But them's the stories. It should be pretty fun. So let's get straight into Funny news story out of Japan today, which was the teabag flasher. So, a 44-year-old Japanese man was arrested this week for indecently exposing himself on an escalator. At approximately 5:30 p.m., the suspect was riding an escalator in front of a young woman, and for some reason, he suddenly decided to pull his pants down and give her the full moon. The suspect was promptly apprehended and held in custody because he was on an escalator. Where was he going to go? And upon interrogation, the suspect denied the accusations, or at least part of them. He considered that he did indeed pants himself in front of her. He did so with the explicit purpose of showing the woman not his private bits, but instead his sexy underwear, because he was wearing a luxurious teabag thong. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, I did not obtain a picture of the thong that the man was wearing. I did spend many hours researching thongs for this story, though, probably for my academic education course. But the man's justification did not stand up in court, and he was charged with being a public nuisance, as opposed to indecent public exposure. But either way, I'm sure the judge managed to crack a smile. Yeah, I went straight in with a teabag. It's such a hilarious story. It's got such a good thumbnail as well. Hello, Miwa, by the way. Did you catch the full story, or do you want me to start over? Yeah, it's so wild. I've never understood an individual that would choose to flash someone. For some reason, it's like 99% of the time it's men, and I don't understand why guys seem to seek this out. I don't know. But it's so weird that it always seems to be men. and it's like this is a 44-year-old office worker. So it's just really funny that he's clearly been wearing the thong all day, and because this was at 5:30 p.m. and then he just decided on his way home to just pants himself. And so I actually read more of the police report, and it was actually in Japan they have a special term for women under 20 but are like above the age of 15. So he pants himself to a girl who was like between 15 and 20 years old. The article made it seem like it was a lady that was like 19. But either way, this is some sussy behavior. Yeah, what was going through his head at the same time? It's so weird because he did it on an escalator. So it's clearly like in plain view of lots of people. Like it's clearly super public, and it's 5:30 p.m. That's when literally everyone is going home. I don't understand this guy's logic, but I do like that basically he confessed. He had this spin on the tail, but he was like, well, I did it, but not for the reasons you might think. As he winks at the cops. But it's just a silly story, and I don't know what would possess an individual to do this. I suppose in a way, at least it's better that it was so public rather than being like in a dark alley or a park or something weirder. Just wanted to show off his new thong. That's literally what he said. Unfortunately, there's no video footage that I could find, so we don't know like how far he went. But clearly, he did drop pants and you know, give her a good full moon. But yeah, it's so I'll never understand why people do this. But we'll move on to the next story because it's a Christmas themed one, and I'm quite happy we came across this one. So, a Japanese idol group swooped in to save Santa Claus this year. So, you might not be aware, but many idol groups actually start at very young ages in Japan. So, and in this case in particular, the idol group in question was comprised of 11 to 12-year-old girls. One of the members in particular still believes in Santa Claus. So as such, a formal statement was released from management asking fans to, quote, conduct themselves words and action assumption that Santa Claus exists. So this included generally not talking about like where the young idol might be. If you're at an event where she is, you know, whether it's like shaking hands, signing, stuff like that, they humbly request that you not bring up the topic at all, even among general chit chat among like other fans who are there at like the event. So what's really cool about this is that the community responded to the statement with replies like, I mean, yeah, of course, because Santa is real. And then he comes to my house every year. And then like one person said, when you wake up on Christmas morning, there's a present waiting for you, right? So there's no reason to think Santa isn't real. So it's just a nice little Christmas story. And it made me want to share a Santa Claus story. So I'm someone who's just always naturally woken up super early. Like it's not rare for me to be up at like 6 a.m. just because that's just when I wake up. But it was even worse when I was a small child. I'd be awake at like 4 or 5 a.m. particularly on Christmas Day, because obviously it's super exciting. So what my parents would do is, what Santa would do is when I went to sleep at night, he would sneak into my room and leave a video game on my desk wrapped up so that I could unwrap it and play it. Normally, because I was at an age when it'd be like a Pokemon game. But I would unwrap it and I'd be playing that Pokemon game all the way up until everybody else in the house woke up like 3 or 4 hours later. So I think it's a really cute but also really clever idea of, hey, we've got this kid who wakes up at like super early hours. So how can we make Christmas Day pleasant for everyone? I know. We'll just leave a video game out for him, and then he can keep his time like playing that until everyone else is like who's gonna break the news to her that Santa may or may not be real. We're unconfirmed. Yeah, it's so cool. I think I don't know, what age were you when you didn't believe Santa Claus was real? I mean, like, I get the impression 11 to 12 quite late. Like, I'd say normally by like high school, most people would come to a different conclusion. I don't remember when I questioned Santa Claus. I think it was earlier than high school. I think it's nice that the like management and all of the fans kind of leaned into it. Collectively decided, yeah, we should do this. We should. But you had 2 older siblings, so you knew around 8. Yeah, I suppose that. Yeah, older siblings ruin everything, don't they? Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I think it's more tempting they ruined Christmas. I think it's tempting to leave Santa for longer as opposed to stuff like Tooth Fairy and stuff like that. Christmas is more fun. You get more presents, whereas like the Tooth Fairy, it's like, you know, you get some money maybe. You also get a lot of pain. So Christmas is way better in that regard. Did you ever open a Christmas present early? The Tooth Fairy isn't real? ? No spoilers here. YouTubers aren't real. All the time. The only time I opened a present early was to double check that I got a Pokemon game. It's funny, I can just read "They Ruined Christmas" face all the time. Yeah, I'm just an illusion. Can I? There's probably a way for me to fade myself in and out. But I'm cautious of playing with the. Can I do it if I go into properties of the filters? Do I go into filters? I add. I don't know. There's probably a way to make myself fade in and out. That's something I have to work on. Add it as a an Easter egg. I probably should have done that at Halloween. Been like opaque. An opaque VTuber. Just sink downwards. In my home scene, I can pretend as if I'm like walking down the stairs. You know what I mean? Let's quickly switch to home. Oh, wrong home. Bedroom home. If I walk in, I can pretend like I'm walking down the stairs. Let's go back to the city. That's enough goofing around now. We've got the news to get through. We'll move on to the next one because this is some next level dystopia stuff. This one. So, Japanese nap pods exist, and you can see the horrendous dystopian device here. You know, like the only thing the model is missing is like nutrient tube coming out of it. So somehow this whole thing is sponsored by Nescafe. Maybe they're hoping to get this like in coffee shops, who knows. But basically this is like an old school phone box that you can catch up on some sleep while staying like mostly upright. For vampires this probably won't be an issue, but for a normal person this is clearly wild, right? Like no normal person sleeps like standing up unless they're on a train, then they're leaning on someone. So you might be thinking like, hang on, isn't this just like the capsule hotels but upright? So why is this so weird by comparison? And yeah, they like maybe there's some use case to this, but one of the pods was installed inside of a Japanese elementary school. So, and I actually have footage, so I'm gonna roll clip. So you can see the demonstrator in the device, the pod, and then we can see them educating, indoctrinating the children. So, like we can see this schoolboy. We know it's a schoolboy because of his amazing schoolboy shorts. He's getting in. He's trying it out. He seems happy enough. And if I skip, like one of the schoolgirls tries it, and she's smiling. She seems happy. So you can see like the school administrators, whatever. I think this is the salesman who invented this device. I shall withhold judgment. But I mean, like, I'm fairly sure the kids would be happy just like sleeping on their desk. That's what we did back in my day. And so the idea is, oh, Japanese school kids aren't getting enough sleep, so we're going to introduce these sleep pods to, you know, allow them a place to like sleep. You know, yeah, or just buy them a bed. So what's funny is this, on Japanese Twitter, many Japanese commenters weren't happy about this innovation. They think that, quote, we live in a terrible timeline. Quote, you started with sleep is important, and this is the conclusion you came to? So, what makes this even funnier is the elementary school installed a single sleep pod, which in of itself kind of lets you know it's a flawed idea. You know, because like if it's only one pod, one kid is going to be in there like what? Let's say a quick nap is like 10 to 15 minutes. So that you can only get so many uses out of the pod during the school day. You know, It's not like Japanese schools have big recesses like we do in the West. I just don't get it. And what's funny about these sleep pods is that I've seen grown adult workers fall asleep at their desk come 10 a.m. Never mind school children. But what's funny about this is, how much do you think this pod costs? So unfortunately, I couldn't get figures for how much it legitimately costs. But I have worked in several professional offices before that have done huge renovations. And I'm talking like, we've put new floors in, like people have bought new furniture, new desks, chairs, other kind of business stuff. So I can confidently say that these pods probably like more than $5,000 a pod. And that's why there's only a single pod. And I can also confidently say that the person who is in charge of making this purchase clearly has a pointless administration job within the school. Because the person, when I was doing the office renovations, the person in charge of buying all this crazy stupid shit, it's always someone with a pointless administration job, trying to just justify their existence in the business. Looks like they're being incubated to wake up 100 years later on a different planet. Yeah, it's actually a cryostasis pod that's being loaded on Elon Musk's new spaceship. That's why it fits both adults and children, so that as the children grow up in age, they become adults, they still fit within the pod. They're apparently on 3 million yen. There's 3 million JPY in USD. Like $20,000. Yeah, like this grifter furniture that could be purchased in offices is absolutely insane. It's such a huge markup and it's so profitable because you get these consultants in who just want to spend your money, and then you have people in leadership who go like, oh yeah, we should have these booths, or we should have these nice little chairs, and they're just spending hundreds of thousands of dollars just because they think it looks cool, not because it's actually useful or would be good for staff. And what always made me laugh is when leadership would purchase these things, but then they would never be in the office to use them. They were too busy in their private offices. That says it all, really. Like when the pods are 20k, like they know who the target market audience is. A bed costs like $400 to $600. Yeah, so like you assume they're not buying a bed for, let's say, hygiene reasons, because you have to change the sheets, blah 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 blah. But we can clearly see that I'll roll clip again. Clearly see that this guy and all the school children, he puts his head on the pillow cushion. So like if you're someone who's, a dribbler, when you're sleeping or napping, like that cushion is gonna be so unhygienic for everybody else using it. And so it's kind of like, well then yeah, you might as well have just bought a bed, or you could have just bought like a row of bunk beds. Or just like you can have like a dark office with several like recliner chairs. The germ buildup in a pod with no windows, fact. The condensation from bed breath. This is what I was saying, of like these things are just always super impractical, and they just look good to people in charge, and then these types of things never get used, largely because they don't work correctly. Like, I'm sure it's dark in there, but it probably won't be quiet. And also, right, I don't know of a single place in an elementary school that would be quiet. That wasn't certainly my experience going to elementary school. Yeah, we'll move on from the gross saliva pillow issue. So we'll move on to the volcano store. So Lawson's have opened a brand new convenience store inside of an active volcano. So Sakurajima is now attached to the Japanese mainland after a major eruption a century ago, and it still sends out small eruptions on a daily basis. So it's sending chunks of like volcanic rock and ash over the store like daily. And so we can have a close look at the volcano here. And like, this thing is huge, like it's still active, like it's pretty dangerous. So it's 170 foot tall, about 50 meters. It's like, this volcano is very much still alive. And it's kind of insane to me as a British person that they would build a store here, because the only natural disasters we have in Britain is when we run out of like tea and biscuits. But what's cool about Japanese companies is that they'll adapt a store's design and outlook to match its surroundings. So we've got a volcano, you can see that Lawson's, which is normally like it's kind of like a bright blue. We changed the colors to be like this muted brown so that it fits in with like the volcano aesthetic. And I actually, so when I was in Kyoto, I found the Starbucks in Kyoto. It doesn't look like a normal Starbucks because obviously they changed the exterior to fit the surroundings. So this is what Starbucks looks like in Kyoto. And look, how cool does that look? And I can also show you the interior. Look how cool this looks. Look how nice it is. You're probably like, oh, hang on, dude, calm down. It's Starbucks. I was like, yeah, but in England, the Starbucks don't look that good. And what's really funny about England is like, so when they see images of, say, like Oxford and the Harry Potter dining hall, what they don't see is that if the camera angle was tilted like 5 degrees to the left or the right, they'd actually see Colonel Sanders and KFC. So that's why I'm making a big deal of how nice this looks, because in England we just straight up don't do this. We'll have like historic monuments and then like McDonald and like Ronald McDonald would be like literally right next to it. Your school didn't even give you lockers. Oh, we had lockers, they were always battered. Oh, toilet roll. That looks sick. Yeah, it does. Isn't it just like super cool that they have this wonderful interior design? Whereas like the Starbucks in the UK, they're very bland. Like, they generally look nice. Like if I'm gonna go to a coffee shop, and I know shock horror guys being British, I don't drink tea or coffee. But if I'm gonna go to one of these places because I'm being taken there, then like I'd probably pick Starbucks. Get their, what is it, their iced strawberry frappuccino? That will. I don't do coffee. If I'm going to these places, it's that or I get like hot chocolate. Yeah, you see this long table? That's the size of our Starbucks. And honestly, that's like pretty correct. The ones in ones I've seen in London, they're like in between two like really big department stores. They are like that big. Oh, you're gonna miss the Katatsu story. But I will plow ahead. I can always rewind, no worries. But yeah, I just think it's really cool that they built a store in a volcano, because it's a Sakurajima, it's a fairly big island. Island is attached to the mainland. Anyway. It's just cool that they would do something like this, and obviously because in Japan you have a lot of natural disasters and volcanoes that is kind of normal life, even though it seems like really foreign, to me at least, being British. As I said, we have no natural disasters other than our economy, you know, and our politicians. Anyway, I will move on to the next story. In Japan, a katatsu is basically a heated table that comes with a quilt. So there's a heating element within the table, and the quilt is like make like nice and cozy. As you can see by our cute anime cat girls. And like, you know, you've probably seen these tons of times if you've ever watched like an anime or even like Japanese television like that. And what you'll normally see is that they normally have these mandarin oranges in the center of the table. You know, you can see the cute girl playing over here. Well, Red Bull Japan decided to hone in on this idea, and they have produced the Red Bull Winter Edition, which is flavored to taste like mandarins, which is what we saw on the table. So they've flavored Red Bull to taste like this, and my theory is they made a Red Bull version of mandarins because they know that once you get inside a kotatsu, you don't want to leave it. And typically it's very easy to fall asleep inside of one because like your legs and feet are really warm, but normally your upper body can be like way colder. It puts you in this position like it really makes you drowsy. So I have a theory that they made this drink so it can wake you up from the kotatsu trap. So if you're wondering, like, hang on, why do they have these central heated, well, not central heated, why do they have these heated tables? It's because Japan doesn't really have central heating. They have air conditioners in each room, which obviously blow hot and cold air. So you have these tables. It's less expensive than heating via like air conditioning. It does look like quite a family thing to do. Like if you look back, like the place where everyone can just gather. I think they're really nice. My experience with kotatsu is really pleasant. I absolutely adore them. I wish more countries did them. It's nice to sit around the table and just eat with friends and like that. But kotatsus are so popular that this winter you can even have a hot pot for two under a kotatsu at the top of a Osaka skyscraper. So you can be under a kotatsu having like a luxurious dinner and looking out over Osaka. So for just $50 you can have the shabu shabu course while under the kotatsu at this amazing city. Which like it sounds absolutely awesome, like such a great idea. But the only problem is, if I was to eat a hot pot and be under a kotatsu, I'd literally probably fall asleep in the restaurant. Like hot pot is one of my favorite meals, and they're so hot, like they warm you up so much when you eat them, and then you're also under kotatsu, and it'd be so hard to to leave the restaurant. It's actually quite hard to get kotatsus in the West. They're actually like quite expensive. Not said they're quite expensive. They're like 3 or 4 times what you just pay in Japan. I suppose that's fine, you know, because obviously like that table is coming all the way across the world. We'll move on to the next story. We need the snake. So Japan has a hybrid approach to New Year's traditions. So New Year's is still January 1st, but the Chinese zodiac custom is also observed, which also starts on January the 1st for them. And so since 2025 is the year of the snake, we have a new limited edition Winnie the Pooh plushie line. So Winnie the Snake, I mean, just look at this guy. Look how happy he looks. It can make you happy just looking at this little guy. Looks so cozy. And the best thing is, he can even take his hood down. And these are only $20 to pick up this cute little guy, which I think is so nice. But if you're more interested in like Piglet and Eeyore, they have those too. And they are like, I think they're about maybe $15. Look how nice everything looks. And this seems to be an annual thing that they seem to do. They also have, in my opinion, a much cooler dragon version from last year. Look at this. Look how cool this looks. You've got... It looks like he's wearing pajamas. Behind his pajamas. But it's nice that they got these red and white versions. Look at his little tail. His little dragon tail. And like the little dragon mustache and horns. So cute. If I was given the choice between buying the snake of the dragon, I'd definitely go with the dragon. I think this red Winnie the Pooh is awesome. So is the white one. This is so nice. The merchandise that they do there is like so cool. I don't know if I don't believe you can get these in the West. Obviously you can import them, but I don't think they're being sold in the store anywhere like they are in Japan. Which is unfortunate because like they look so cool. I think they'd sell really well. I think they'd be really popular. But just because it's like Zodiac and all that sort of stuff isn't that big in the West, it's just not available, which is unfortunate. But here's something you can buy in the West. So maybe you probably don't want to. This is Japan's gamer gown. They released this just recently. It's designed for ultra cold days when you just want to stay home and game. And like quite literally never leave your bed. So this gown comes with multiple pockets. And some of them stick to the gown. So if you take a look, we can see that we've got a food pouch. So you can be your own kangaroo. So we've got popcorn, we've got tissues, and we've got a remote holder, and we've even got a pouch that has a hole so you can connect your game controllers. So we can plug in our controller and keep our hands warm all at the same time. And if you think this looks amazing, well, here's some pictures. So for just $50, you too can look like a crazy cat lady. So this isn't something that I would personally buy. Which is obviously representative of my negative coverage. But for $50, I guess it's a fairly like good deal. Personally, I'd much just rather wear like a normal hoodie and a blanket. But I don't like the feel of this like artificial kind of fur thing anyway. But yeah, it's just interesting that this is a game again that exists, and you can buy it on Amazon, which kind of makes me think that you can buy it in the West as well. Would you buy this? Is this something you would like consider purchasing for $50? What's that? 35, 40 pounds? I'm gonna go with no on this one. But do let me know if you're someone who would buy this. Clearly they've got a meaningful target audience to produce this sort of stuff. It must be fairly popular. I imagine they'll come out with different color variants, like a black version, a blue version, and all that stuff. Yeah, I will move on to the next story, which is a banger story. Research of this story was hilarious. The second I came across it, I knew this one was going to be a banger. So, last week I covered dark part-time jobs, and this week we're actually not. So this is a legitimate job where you get paid to chat to Japanese girls. Now, I know this sounds like a dream job to some of you, but let me excite you even more. It's fully remote, flexible hours. What's more, it's for a game developer. The game developer is known as Ace, and they're making an otome game. An otome game is basically a dating simulator for women, and they want someone to write responses to the in-game messages that players can send to their virtual would-be boyfriends. So, no joke, the job listed said that there was no special skills required other than like being native Japanese. So I'd probably also add not being a massive creep too. And so for this extremely tasking work, you can get paid up to $14 an hour, and there's 10 roles open. So I've never played an Otome game or like the male variant. I'm not too sure what that's called. I've never played these games before, but I know that they're extremely popular, and not just in Japan. And we know this because if we search the term on SteamDB, we know that these games sell absolutely loads. They're very popular. You know, so maybe if you're watching this, you could be an Otome enjoyer. And if you are, please let me know. I'd love to know why you buy these games and like what makes you interested in them. I've never given them a go. I might do one on stream. But I just think it's pretty cool that they're trying to build an authentic experience for what is the predominantly female player base. So it's cool that they're paying people to like write these lines to make it feel as natural as possible, rather than just kind of letting like AI just throw something out there. I think it's really cool that they're doing this. So please let me know if you're going to buy this game. I would love to hear your reviews on it. And I will be right back. Hold on. I am back. Let me take a drink, hold on. There's someone at my door. Yeah, I never played an Otome game. Do you think the only one I did ever play was Asagao Academy? Which was, oh yeah, that is an Otome game. Yes, I have played one. I actually quite enjoyed Asagao Academy. I thought it was really well done. I thought the stories were really cool, and the whole scenes that they did, it's all really well done. All the dialogue. Maybe I am an Otome enjoyer. I don't know what's out there. I'm not like it's not a genre that I would default to. I wonder if I should research Otome games to play on stream. I know that there's been I saw Asmongold play that Korean Otome game. It's not Otome, but it's where you pick up various girls in the game, basically. I saw him playing the real life Korean one. And he was letting chat make all of the conversation decisions. So, understandably, it was total chaos. Like, the worst cringe dialogue that he could pick, he was just going with. It was funny for stream. I'd definitely be down for doing something like that. I think you need like a decent level of chatters though to make it like literally funny. But yeah, so it turns out I have played an Otome game. It just slipped my mind, or at least I didn't categorize it Otome. But now my eyes have been opened. I shall move on to the next one, even though this is definitely my favorite story of the week. But yeah, this so behind the scenes footage, I spent like half an hour trying to find images like these of where it was like this was serious research, guys, academic reasons only. I was trying to find images for like points of view dating a Japanese girl that I could find thumbnail images for the stream and for the clips that I do on YouTube. And like I could only find these two. And so I was asking my friends for help. Like, is there a special term for this that I'm missing? And so I had other people infecting the internet search history with its search term, and everyone was coming up blank. And it kind of struck me that maybe these types of images are just behind a paywall now. Like this is something that's like people would pay for, you know? Like if they're paying for ASMR type stuff, you know, where they're like whereas girls like saying, oh, good morning honey, and all that sort of stuff. Maybe these pictures are also like within that ASMR paywall. That is the only thing that I could come up with why I couldn't find more images like this. At least on at least on child-friendly websites. Yeah, we'll put an end to that research topic. So, in Japan, there's a fashion subculture known as gyaru, which basically is the Japanese pronunciation of girl, but you might have more commonly heard it being pronounced as like gal girl. So if you're British, kind of like a chav, but it's not the same. In the US, it's kind of like a valley girl, but it's also not the same kind of thing. So basically, if you ever see a Japanese girl with lots of fake tan, bright clothes, and really large fake nails, you're probably looking at a gyaru. So the gyaru style is all about not conforming to Japanese standards. It's all about being like ostentatious, vibrant, bright, kind of loud. You know, whereas the Japanese standard is kind of like the opposite of all those things. Like in Japan, a big emphasis is placed on fitting in and not drawing. There's a gyaru, it's all about not fitting in and drawing lots of attention. You can see like how they're quite like ostentatiously dressed. It's like bright colors. It's the obviously much darker skin tone for like a normal Japanese person, and like, you know, like colorful hair and all stuff like that. It's not like a bit of a faux pas in like Japanese like adult society. But what if I told you could pay for gyaru lessons and also spend time with a real gyaru? Well, there's a cafe in Shibuya named Tension that offers a complete gyaru experience. And so this cafe allows you to dress the part and learn how to speak just like a real gyaru. So as far as I'm aware, it's like predominantly aimed at females, but males can turn up and just like have their own gyaru experience by like having drinks and like playing games with the gyaru staff. So tangentially, I do have my own gyaru experience to talk about. This is a wild one, so buckle in. When I was living in Japan, my male colleagues always liked to take me out drinking. Mostly because Westerner in southern Japan is a bit of a specimen. So that meant I attracted a lot of attention, especially from the ladies at night. So you can see why the guys wanted me around, because it certainly wasn't because of my Japanese skills. So one night, we came across a group of gyarus at a club. And this is the one time in my life that I felt that I understood what it must feel like to be a gang leader. Because in the club, these girls surrounded me and it felt like I had achieved my own harem. And it must have looked like I was some kind of Western drug lord or something crazy like that. And like the guys I was with, they weren't jealous at all because they were getting their own attention as well. So I definitely ended the night covered in like fake tan and lipstick, and unfortunately smelling like smoke. That night was definitely a turning point for me in Japan, because it was the start of a reputation that would dog me for like the next 3 months. So I'd get like invites to go out drinking nearly every night from people I didn't personally know. people were treating me like a Western Lucky Charm, presumably because people were getting lucky. So if you want your own Gyaru experience but don't want to go to the Gyaru cafe, there is an anime called My First Girlfriend is a Gal. It's all about a bunch of misfits getting a Gyaru as their first girlfriend. So the anime is trash. It's a solid like 4 out of 10. But hey, if you're interested in kind of learning more about Gyaru culture and seeing what that would be like, give My First Girlfriend is a Gal a shot. It's not a good anime, but it's an anime. Looks like, hypothetically speaking. Yeah, I mean, like, would you ever dress like this? Did you ever have a fake tan phase? And like, look at the size of those fake nails as well. I think I can't imagine what that would be like to live daily life like with. I imagine they're just like constantly getting in the way. Like, imagine just like taking out the trash. It's like it's even missing one on that finger. If you're ginger, you would never. Yeah, I imagine that wouldn't be a good look. It would just be just ginger from head to toe. Yeah, my experience with Gary is that they're very lively, and obviously they're pretty friendly. You look like a carrot. Yeah, I've never worn fake tan. I don't know what that would be like. But it's cool that there's a cafe where like you can go and experience what life is like as a Gyaru if you want to like get a taste before you commit. And like you don't, so because Gyaru is a fashion style, it's not like the fake tan. It's definitely an element of it, but it's not like a barrier to entry. But you did used to have poofy hair. Are we talking about were you a ginger Amy Winehouse? Was that where we're going with this? Not quite that poofy, but still. In fairness, I'm probably not one to talk, because in high school I had a blue mohawk for a while, so we can add that to the law. That's how I went to graduation, with a blue mohawk. I didn't have it for that long, though. When I was in university, there was a guy. Someone slapped some cuffs on him. When I was in uni, there was a guy who rocked a spiky mohawk, like straight as if he came out of the year 2000. But he had really long hair, and so like this mohawk was coming up maybe like 7 or 8 inches off of his head. He had it, both at the top and all down the back of his head. It was wild. He probably went through like a full tube of Brill cream every week. I saw him with his hair down once. I did not recognize him. I even forget his name. I just refer to him as Mohawk Guy. Yeah, I think. But he'd still be standing in this wind. You'd probably better off standing behind him. Like, he'd just deflect the wind straight off. I asked him once, if he goes swimming with his hair like that, does that make you more aerodynamic like sharks? I don't know if you can get waterproof hair gel. Maybe that exists. Hey, can you let's quickly Google this. Waterproof hair gel. Apparently such a thing exists. I wouldn't trust it to maintain a mega mohawk. Because like getting a mohawk in position, that's a lot of effort, you know? Just getting it to sustain all night, probably challenging enough. And also like, every time you touch your hair, it'd be like touching concrete. Anything exists, yeah. So, if you look hard enough, yeah. Because like obviously these girls, their hair is natural, but coloured. Is this girl's hair natural but coloured, or does she have, what do they call it, extensions? I have no clue about women's hair. As a male, my understanding of female hair goes, that looks nice. that's the limit of my female hair vocabulary. All of the above. Yeah, I think the hairstyle they used to have is really nice. This one is definitely wild. Honestly, because I come from the north of England, these two look just like every girl that I saw in high school. like pretty much the only difference is that they're Japanese rather than British. Was your high school like this? Did you have girls who just like pretty much just looked like this? It's definitely Western influenced, 100%. They actually do, yeah. Yeah, it's almost like out of context. Obviously, like, we're British and you see it in school as a normal thing, so seeing it in Japan being recreated is kind of like a little bit strange. But it's different because it's like we have chavs and that's like almost a social class. Whereas this is like a fashion choice. So it's similar, but it's not the same. You feel like you was one of them, but we don't talk about that. But it's nature versus nurture, you see. So you're a product of your environment one way or another. How that relates to me getting a blue mohawk, we'll never know. But I do have one last story. So, train otakus fight. Across the world, there are many people that have a love for trains. And I'm not talking about like a general enjoyment of trains because they grew up with like Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm talking like waking up at 2 a.m. to go snap a picture of a continental freight train because it only goes through that region once every 6 months. Like, that's the kind of like love of trains I'm talking about for this story. So in Japan, this is especially a thing, and it's very, very popular. However, this normally chill hobby recently turned a little heated, with reports of violence, vandalism, and generally bad manners from these like hobbyist train photographers. But what's the cause of all this upset? Well, these train otakus often compete to get like the best photograph, which means getting the best angle, which means that people get upset if someone blocks their picture or gets in their way and stuff like that. And I'm not talking like a normal upset where they might shout at something or they might say something. I'm talking like actual brawls on the train platform, which is obviously like super dangerous. And it just makes like riding the train uncomfortable for like normal people who just want to get on the friggin' train. And so these fights became so prevalent that it led to Sagami Railway teaming up with Adobe to educate these train otaku on how to use AI to remove unwanted people and objects from their photographs, in the hope that it would dampen the aggressive tendencies of these train lovers. And so during my research, I found out about this specific event. You're seeing this train in a train hall, and it's like cornered off. You've got like chains and stuff like this, and you got all these people taking photographs. So no joke, everything I'm about to say is 100% factual. This is a private and costly event where Train Otaku can pay to get up close and personal access to these retired trains so that they can photograph them. And if you're wondering, to attend an event like this, each ticket is nearly $100 each. And they don't even get to ride on the train. And these tickets are limited to 100 places only, all of which sell out within 5 minutes. But if you're thinking like, whoa, only $100, can I spend more? Well, I've got you, because for a cool $600, you can get a full experience where you can not only photograph the train from the outside, you can also photograph it from the inside. Now, thankfully, the $600 ticket does come with a tour of like the rail shed and the train driving experience, which, you know, that does sound kind of cool. And it's also worth noting that the $600 ticket also sells out within minutes. $600, yeah. And that's the $600 gets you like, you get to learn how to ride a train, you can get in and out of the train, take all the pictures you want. So the $600 ticket, you can buy a single ticket, but you always go in groups. I think it's like a group of 10. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, bargain. But it's absolutely wild that people would pay $100 to do something like this, and then like obviously pay 6 times that to have like a more personal experience. It must be nice being like so passionate about something like this. And I do kind of get it, because like trains are very mechanical, they're very heavy on the engineering, they're very fun. But it also kind of, if you love trains this much, why don't you become a train driver or like a train conductor or like something like that? And so I actually have some random knowledge, and I'm not too sure how factual this is, but I know that to be like a Japanese train conductor, you obviously have to go to like a special university and you have to do all this sort of stuff. But the pass conditions are actually quite tough. So not many people actually succeed in their dream to becoming a train driver. You know, and obviously it's not necessarily a job that's feasible for everyone, you know, for family reasons or wages, whatever. But it just blows my mind that like all of these people, and there's men and women here, like obviously it's predominantly men, but pretty much everyone is interested in these trains, and it's not something we really have in England. Like in England, we see trains. Well, one, we see them rarely because they barely ever run, but we see them more of as like a nuisance because the trains take way longer than driving, way more inconvenient. Like where I live, if I want to go to the city, what is like a half an hour car ride is actually an hours long train ride, and it's cheaper to go by car. So it's obviously like Japan has a huge history of like good train travel. but in England and like in Japan they respect the trains. In the UK that's just not the case. It's a long bus on a track. Well, technically a bus is just a train with wheels, since the train was first. But yeah, I do admire these people, that they're like so passionate, and it like this is what they do. I'd love to see their homes. You know, you got family picture, train picture, train picture, train picture, train picture. Here's me stood next to a 1954. I will say that the Japanese bullet trains, they are super cool. They're absolutely wild. They should be like all over the world. And I know that China now has the maglev trains, and they go wicked fast, and they also look super cool. But like, I'm excited about them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to like snap a picture or like pay like $100 to Because like me paying $100 for a train ticket, I better be riding on that fucking train. That said, in the UK now, like the cost of train tickets, like 100 quid gets you like what, down the road? But the trains are cool, but not $600 cool. I think if you go first class from, let's say, Tokyo to I was gonna say Kyoto, but that's actually not that long. If you go from like Sendai to Kyoto, maybe it's like $600 for a first class ticket. So I've seen videos of them. They look very nice. I think in general, I don't think first class is ever really worth the money. I've never flown first class. I have rode a train at first class, and I didn't think that was worth it either. Yeah. Did you? What stories did you miss? Did you catch paid to talk with Japanese girls? This is a good story, and I think it'd be funny to get your take. You missed that one. I'll do it again. Just because it's a funny one. Let me clear my voice. So, last week I covered dark part-time jobs. And this week, we're actually not. So, this is a legitimate job where you get paid to chat to Japanese girls. Now, I know this sounds like a dream job to some of you. So, let me excite you even more. It's fully remote. It's flexible hours, and what's more, it's for a game developer. The developer is known as Ace, and they're making a otome game. So an otome game is basically a dating simulator for women, and they want someone to write responses to the in-game messages that the players can send to like virtual would-be boyfriends. So there's no special skills required for this job other than like native Japanese. So I would probably add not being a massive creep too. And so for this extremely tasking work, you can get paid up to $14 an hour, and there's 10 roles open. So I've never played these games before, but they're extremely popular, and not just in Japan. And you know, maybe we have someone in chat who enjoys otome games as well. But I think it's really cool that this company is like actively trying to get like authentic male responses, rather than just like letting AI throw something out there. So I think it's really cool that they're putting this work out there for someone to do, to try and make it like as really authentic as possible. But that's how you can get paid to chat with Japanese girls. And for $14 an hour, I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, that was the paid to chat with Japanese girls story. It's a fairly short one because it is just a job listing. It sounds fun. Yeah. So I was talking that I originally, like, my script was like, oh, I've never played one of these games before. That's actually not true. I have played one of these games before. And I played Asagao Academy. Yeah, you can't really see it. There you go. Yeah, so I did actually play this one. I played this like around its release, and I actually really enjoyed it. You think that you would laugh the whole time, but you'd at least try it. Yeah, like I'm really interested to see, hear from someone who plays these on the regular, like what they get out of it, why they think it's fun. So when I played this game, I was playing it for the memes, and then I ended up just getting really involved. So I actually think the game is pretty fun, and I would recommend, because it's free to download, I would recommend that like people give this a shot if they want to experience an otome game, and not pay for anything because the game is free. I was trying to remember because otome means boy dating game. I can't remember the name for the reverse of where a harem game, I guess, is what it would be. Yeah, I think you left after the Starbucks story, and then I covered the Kotatsu story, and then there's like a gamer gown and like specific like new Winnie the Pooh merchandise. Nowhere near as interesting as the being paid to talk to Japanese girls. Yeah, that's it for this week in Japan. I shall move to the bedroom. Huh? Let me just catch up. There we go. Oh, what do you want to see the? You want to see the Kotatsu story? Oh. So in Japan, a kotatsu is basically a heated table that comes with a quilt, and we can see cute anime cat girls enjoying the kotatsu. You've probably seen like loads of these in anime, and you'll see that they normally have like these mandarin oranges center of the table. And so Red Bull had this idea of, hang on, why don't we produce a kotatsu like winter edition Red Bull? And they flavored it to taste like mandarins. Apparently it's quite nice. And I suspect they developed this because once you get under a kotatsu, it's actually quite hard to get out from under them because they're so comfortable and they make you so sleepy. Maybe that's why they made this energy drink. So they kind of, like, if you get under a kotatsu and you've got work to do, it's to keep you like awake and alert. So if you're wondering like why kotatsus are so popular in Japan, it's because they don't have central heating like we have in the West. So it allows them to have like a nice hot spot in the room without turning on like the heater, because it's cheaper to have the kotatsu running rather than the heated AC. And what's really cool about this is I went as I was doing like more googling, I came across this. So kotatsus are so popular that this winter you can even have a hot pot for two under a kotatsu, the top of a skyscraper in Osaka. So for just $50, you can have the shabu shabu course whilst under a kotatsu overlooking all of Osaka. And that sounds absolutely awesome. It sounds like a great deal. But I would imagine like after heating a hot pot and being under kotatsu, I'd literally just fall asleep in the restaurant. That looks so nice. You want to go there? Yeah, absolutely. Like, how nice would this be? Even just at lunchtime, but like at nighttime when it's getting dark and you have all the lights and stuff, you're there having like this shared hot pot. It'd be so nice. You'd fall asleep too. Yeah, it's stuff like we don't do this stuff like kind of thing in the West. And I think it's so cool that they have these ideas and they're really cute and stuff. Like this isn't outside. It looks like obviously you got grass and stuff, but no, it's inside. So the kotatsu isn't strictly needed. I just think it'd be really cozy. Yeah, could you dim the lights? You probably make it super bright so that you don't like pass out. It's like particularly if you're having like alcohol as well, like it'd be so easy to just like fall asleep after you've eaten like a hot pot. And I love hot pots. It's just that it's a lot of food. Combine that with being like getting super warm and then drunk. Yeah, you think you still could. Yeah, that was a kotatsu story, and I'm really happy I came across it because I think it's just really cute, and I love this image. This is a really cute image. When I found it, I was like, oh, I've got to use this. Strap you to the top of a train in the rain, it'll still smell fall asleep. I'm a really light sleeper. I can get disturbed quite easily, unfortunately. I am told that when I do fall asleep though, I like literally do not move. Like I fall asleep like a vampire. And I just like, even if I'm like sat down, I'll stay like sat I'll stay sat bolt upright. They're gonna throw you on the floor to wake you up. But that said, I'm a super early riser by default. I have to check my pulse every now and then. Yeah, and keep onion and garlic away from me and silver. Alright, let's go back to the bedroom. Man, I'm magically already here. What sorcery is this? This vampire magic. And actually, if I can't zoom in, but, you can see that I kind of have fangs. Vampire confirmed? Question mark? I know there's many VTuber vampires out there. And I am wearing a cross. Hmm? Am I a spy? Am I a vampire plant? Maybe I'm a converted vampire. The lore is changing by the second. Hopefully we've got a scribe. Keeping track of these wild changes. Yeah, my fangs are quite hard to see. You have to like really zoom in to get a good look. Maybe vampire hunter turned vampire. I became the thing that I hate the most. It's like when I went to art school and then took a business degree. The businessmen are drinking my blood just like the artist said they would. There's me quoting Arcade Fire. Yeah, I finished watching Ninja Kamui. Last night? No, it was Thursday night. Yeah. So I have my final Ninja Kamui rating if you want to know. And so I did actually enjoy the anime. You finished it? Yeah, I finished it. Have you finished Black Lagoon? I say that knowing that you probably haven't, because obviously there's so much more work to watch all of Black Lagoon versus like the 3 episodes that I needed to finish for Ninja Kamui. Don't do it dirty. Nah, you fell asleep. That's fine. There's a lot of episodes of Black Lagoon by comparison, so I would say that Ninja Kamui is a solid 6 out of 10. So 5 being average, 6 being slightly above average, 7 being good, 8 being great, 9 being amazing, and 10 being like masterpiece. Didn't get to start. Yeah, that's fine. So I think Ninja Kamui is a 6 out of 10. I feel it starts really strong and like quite mature, but as the episodes go by, I feel it drags a little bit, and the story payoff doesn't really like achieve what it kind of going with, and it kind of like veers into, yeah, like it stopped being gritty and started being more kind of like shonen type story. Okay, so what's a 10 for you then? So a 10 for me would be like Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is a 10. Yeah, 10s are difficult because I give stuff a 10 that I know that I personally love, but I'm also aware that someone else could watch it and be like, what are you talking about? That's not a 10. So a case in point would be the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. I've talked before about how it's got 8 episodes that are identical in the same season because of production issues, but they just ran with 8 episodes that would be like basically identical. Even with that, I still think it's a 10. I'm gonna judge it harshly. At least Black Lagoon can stand up to that harsh judgment, at least, I think. It stands up to multiple views as well. I would also say that for me, a 10 out of 10 is Toradora. Let me pull that up one second. I have watched Toradora multiple times. Let me post it in chat. Did it work? Yeah, it works. So I've watched this anime, I don't know, lots and lots of times. I normally watch it around this time of the year because it's kind of got like a big Christmas block of episodes. But I think Toradora is a legitimate 10 out of 10, and I don't think that's up for much debate. I could see like a 9 or an 8, but for me it's a 10 out of 10. But I should also point out that I do kind of like those types of main characters, for the female leads at least. Yeah, Toradora is kind of like a romance slice of life comedy. Toradora is great. I think it's really good. I have no problem recommending it like at all. Yeah, I thought that Ninja Kamui, it also started to lose some of its animation quality as the show went on. You haven't really watched animes like that? Wow. It's funny, I've watched a lot like that. It's because like ideally I'd watch a bunch of action adventure, but it can get quite fatiguing just watching one after the other. And you know, not all of them are that good. And so when you experience like the romance slice of life type stuff, it can be such a really like a big breath of fresh air. And it's also where they tend to be a bit more artistic because they're not just like, you know, trying to appeal to like young teenage boys. I've got loads of recommendations for those kinds of shows. For some reason I just really picked up on them. I guess is this time to reveal that my favorite novels are predominantly by Jane Austen. You mean it had such a solid start, but do drag a little. Yeah. And I also think it moved from like 2D animation to 3D animation. It just didn't look as good. But you still loved it. Cool. I'm glad you loved it. I just enjoyed it, which I think is totally fine. I think it's cool that we both liked it, but you just liked it more, you know? I keep meaning to do some work on my, because I've rated every anime that I've ever watched. No, not acceptable. Welcome to the internet. Yeah, I mean to like update my anime list ratings soon. But I also kind of want to do as like a YouTube video because I've watched so many anime. You don't accept my criticism. I don't accept your well-reasoned and logical discussion points. All I need now is to get dogpiled on Twitter. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you say about Black Lagoon. I might start watching it myself because I'm in the mood for like that kind of show. Particularly after like Ninja Kamui, where it's a bit more gritty. Instigate the dog pile. 0 to 10. Yeah, I suppose you could organize a raid on my Twitch. That's probably the most effective method of dogpiling. It's funny, with my phone on screen, I always want to, if I'm gonna type in chat, I always try and type in the phone. Fire and pitchforks. Oh, that doesn't work if I'm a vampire, so I'm immune. I've been thinking of what game I should play after Prince of Persia. I'm gonna give Path of Exile 2 a go tomorrow. Throw garlic at you. I'm gonna give Path of Exile 2 a go tomorrow to see if one, if I like it, and two, if I can stream it and like make it fun. It's quite an intense game, I am keen to give it a shot, but I'll finish Prince of Persia, which hopefully I'll do on Monday. I can't imagine there's like more than a couple hours left. Prince of Persia, if that. Not garlic. I've never watched. There's an anime called, what is it, Hellsing? I know that's really popular, but I never watched it all the way through. I think I gave it like an episode, and I was like, I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I'm looking forward to Prince of Persia being just a memory. So I have enjoyed the game. It's just that the combat can really drag, and that kind of bait and switch they did at the very end, it was kind of like, we should just finish the game here. But unfortunately, like a whole section after. We'll see what happens. I have enjoyed playing Prince of Persia. I'll probably come back and play like the second game, or the Warrior Within, some point in the future. I think they've been really fun games to stream. I've got some good clips out of them. That makes me want to kind of come back, do more. Just not right now. It was really entertaining to watch, yeah. It's difficult because like the puzzles can really slow down the stream and the gameplay. Because obviously when you're streaming and trying to solve a puzzle, it doesn't have your full concentration, and that can make solving the puzzles take longer. Oh, there was that time where the controls were just like super shitty. Like that one rope room, like even speedrunners are just like, this is awful. Yeah, so I'm hoping Path of Exile 2 is quite similar for me to kind of play, because I think there'll be a lot of dying, which is always fun on stream. But yeah, so I'm gonna give that a go, a test, and then I might start streaming that from like Wednesday. But yeah, we'll kind of see. Falling to death during combat. It's because like I thought it might happen, but I was also like, will they protect me from myself? And so I kind of just let it happen, thinking, oh no, they're definitely gonna protect me. And then I just straight up died. It's the kind of thing of where, like, as a modern game, they absolutely like step in to like protect you and not let you do that. You know what it was? Oh, like what was it? My reaction of where I was just, I was really passive, because I was like, I'm just gonna let this happen. And then it happened, and I was like, oh shit. And the camera angle also made it funny as well. It was like at that guy's knee. Yeah, the way the camera panned, yeah. It kind of like zoomed in at this really awkward point. It's so... yeah. That whole section was so unnecessary. Like, I threw my armor away. I was in like a prison for like no reason, and then like 5 minutes later, I was out of the prison. Yeah, it was so cheesy. It was like a proper like action. It's like I was like the Prince of Persia became Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, I am gonna call time on the stream, because I feel like my voice is dying a little bit. So I think it's best if I call the stream here for now, just so that I can recover for tomorrow. You know how you get the MVP clips at the end of the FPS games? That was the vibe. I hate those clips at the end of the game. I just want to see the scoreboard and go into the loading screen. I don't want to see like the MVP or anything. Antisocial gamer. I just want to know how many people I killed, how many times I died in relation to that, and load the next map. The MVP clips were the worst in Battlefield 2042. Like, that game was so bad. And those... I still have flashbacks to the stupid MVP clips. It was so annoying, and they finally took them out. But yeah, I am going to bounce now. Thank you for coming along. It was fun chatting and hanging out. Hopefully we can talk about Black Lagoon next time. Only because they always caught you tripping. If we're doing FPSs, I'm pretty much always top of the scoreboard. Yeah, alright, thank you. I will see you next time. I will exit stage right. Big head. I'll have to stream some FPSs and show my prowess. I will see you on Monday. Bye bye.